Why are we seeing a regression from the sexual revolution era? Broadly, monogamy is good, and being careful for who you have sex with is good. Problem with previous society is that this was enforced by law, and people who didn't find it good were punished. It is like difference between not caring whether someone ate a salad or a burger, vs governments forcing people to eat salads. I think too many innocent actors and young people got hurt so publicly, so the compass swung all the way around, to the point where some of it is just otherworldly to me. I saw a post about someone saying that two adults close in age, early 20s, were being gemed by each other, and I had a 20-year-old boyfriend when I was 15 and nobody said shit. It wasn't right, and years of therapy helped, but it also was a thing that happened to lots of girls back in the early 2000s. I don't want to argue over this, but seeing that really hit home 15 years in hindsight. Personally, I wouldn't call an oversaturation of porn and everything a sexual revolution, but I'm not necessarily sure we're regressing either. Some people find porn harmful towards them for a variety of reasons, impacts their sex life, unable to get it up, etc., and abstain for that reason. A lot of people are finding casual sex isn't their thing, so stop bothering with it. Some people, particularly blokes, want to try channeling their energy into something else instead of masturbating. None of this is inherently puritanical. You can be sexually fulfilled without having casual sex, and plenty of people masturbate quite happily without porn. I think we definitely are. There is more conservatism creeping in, but I don't think it's puritanism, just different generations and different norms. Today's availability of sexual material makes it less taboo and therefore less intriguing. Things cycle in and out. The 70s was very sexually liberated. Then the 80s, 2000s sexually liberated. The pendulum is swinging back. Why the current fashion trend is the 90s, new to the kids born in the late 90s. Also, why the stock market crashes every 30 years, influx of new investors that weren't around during the last crash. It's just rebellion against social norms. When social norms are conservative, sexual revolution is rebellion. When open sexual expression is the norm, rebellion is conservative. I think this stuff always goes back and forth over time. The normalization probably went too far for some people and they're pushing back now. Most often it's people that identify something genuinely concerning, like pedophiles trying to pretend they can be a normal part of the LGBT movement and generalize it, assume that gay people would be okay with that when they are actually horrified and pushing back against the idea. It was pushed too far, that's why. The pendulum is swinging back now. In addition to what others have said, people rebel against their parents. If you have a bunch of sexually liberated parents who endorse open sexuality, you gravitate towards the opposite. I travel in exactly that dynamic. I am 55 years old. I've always had open relationships. All my friends are like that. And all our kids are totally uptight and sexually conservative. I bet my oldest kid didn't lose his virginity until his early 20s, and my second kid probably still hasn't. Despite being very knowledgeable in safe sex, anatomy, and sex-positive sex ed in age-appropriate ways from an early age, I just assume it's because they grew up with slutty parents. I hope so, because I grew up in the 90s as well. Bring back shame. Porn and all of this other filth has ruined society as a whole. It's laughable nowadays that being called a SLT is equal to being called a princess. Everyone has gone insane. No matter how progressive someone is, watching a sex scene with your parents in the room is always going to be extremely awkward. Now imagine what's going to happen in 20 years when all the kids of OnlyFans parents grow up. I made fun of one of my friend's mom because she was attractive. I can't even imagine what's going to happen when her nudes are 20 off. Islam and extreme evangelical Christianity are both on the rise. Kids are being indoctrinated into both religions at an alarming rate. Who the fuck cares about sex? It's 2024, find a new topic. Y'all need to get your fucking heads out of your damn pants for a few fucking minutes. Hell, my head is spinning reading some of these posts today. I promise you there are more interesting and worthwhile hobbies other than wasting time thinking about cock or pussy. Source: I had porn probs for a long time on and off, not replying to anyone, just answering the forum post, but feel free to bitch at me for my opinion below, yay Reddit. Are these people, who are deciding to be more pure, judging you or others for not being pure? You haven't talked about that part, which makes it seem like you are more bothered by their purity than you are about them judging you or others. Christianity. The Christians have been on a morality movement since the inception of Roe in 1973. I don't plan on abiding by a cult's crazy rules, because we've seen the damage it has done to society and are sensibly moving away from it. Because people who have their life guided by horniness are a pain to deal with daily. Women are starting to realize men don't want promiscuity, I imagine. Are you talking about the US or worldwide? Just pray the pendulum stays still. I don't think it's a regression, it's just the next step in liberation. Once you're liberated and it's normal to make your own choice, you can choose to take it slow. I don't think many people are saying we should be prudish or something like that. People just make their own choices, and sex isn't the top priority. Cause people have been seeing and feeling the consequences of too much sexuality. Degeneracy, breakdown of the nuclear family, unnerving amount of single parenthood, STDs, people trying to normalize pedophilia. Those are just some from the top. It just gets worse. Nothing wrong with sexuality and sex, just too much of something is a problem, just as with anything. Fascists spend billions of dollars on propaganda, and none of us are as immune to propaganda as we'd like to think. My brother, are you new to the internet? What makes you think society is entering into a sexual regression? Progress is a pendulum affixed to a fulcrum moving slowly in the right direction. There are always counter-cultural movements against progress, but they never last forever. Why this happens is probably a mixture of a lot of different sentiments. Some people are just contrarians. Some people look to the past out of a sense of misguided nostalgia. Some people just feel like they've been left behind while society has moved on without them, etc. Conservatives will always claim that there is some objective, logical reasoning for this regression. They claimed as much after the sexual liberation movements in the 20s and 70s, but look at us now, collectively more liberated than we've ever been before. This cultural backlash will pass and fade away, it always does.